Hey guys, Shyla Colt here with my update on my Reading Quest readathon and my final wrap up for August. Let's jump into the Reading Quest. I am slacking. This was a tough week for me as far as the Reading Quest went. I had a lot going on. I had a book release on the 31st, which basically means it was insane in my house. And I was also chosen as a matron of honor for my best friend, and we are already diving into all the wedding stuff. So unfortunately, my reading went a little bit to the wayside. As it happens, it's life. Let's jump into it. I did complete my Mage Challenge with the book Stormfront by Jim Butcher. Excellent read. 5-star for me. Phenomenal. I love the way Jim Butcher handled Harry Dresden. He was a wizard, but he was a complex man. I love that, yeah, you can have power as a wizard, but it makes all the technology go berserk, which just leads to some very interesting situations constantly. I love that his power had a cap. He's definitely still learning and growing in his power, and he goes into these adventures not sure if he's going to be able to handle everything, which makes reading unpredictable. 5 stars. Highly recommend it. Also recommend the Dresden Files, which was how I discovered the series in the first place. That being said, I did tackle a little bit more with the Bard Challenge. I chose The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman for my 500 plus rating book on Goodreads. Man, am I torn. Neil Gaiman has a wide variety of books, and I feel like many of his series have different vibes, and this one just didn't click with me as far as the story. I just wasn't a fan. It just didn't really do it for me. It was kind of a meh read, but there were lines in here that were so powerful. I was still thinking about them, weeks after I had read it. So it put me at like a 3.5. I'm really curious to know if you really liked this book. Was it a meh read for you, or did you really love it? I'd love to talk about it. The other book I read that pushed me along further on the Bard path was actually Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. I love Cinder. I devoured it. I loved everything about it. I did not like Scarlet. It just wasn't my favorite. I was already sharing the stories with Scarlet and Wolf and Cinder and Thorn, and I really just wanted to know more about Cinder. I love following her as she tried to discover more about her past and how to use her powers and how she came to be where she was. And every time we went back to Scarlet and Wolf, it was almost just like, I don't know, something I didn't want to be involved in. I also just wasn't a Scarlet fan. She just made poor decisions, and she almost was just like, I don't know, really annoying. I'm sorry. I just was totally disappointed. It felt like a departure from Cinder in like a bad way. But I will say that I did really like Thorn, because as I was reading it, all I could think about was Captain Kirk, and I cannot be the only one. He was totally a young Captain Kirk, and that really saved the book in a lot of ways for me. I didn't understand him with Cinder. Like, their chemistry was off, and I just didn't understand. I don't want to do spoilers, but it was a 3-star read for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to move on to Crest. If you've read this series, was it a blah read for you? Was it sort of a slow read? Are there reasons why they told the story this way that are going to make sense in Crest? Should I move on? Guys, let me know, because at this point, I don't know if I'm going to continue. That being said, that's all I have as far as the Reading Quest. And what I'm going to do now is just wrap up for August. Now, because I already did a part 1 of August wrap up, I'll just link that below if you want to see what other books I read this month. So I read 13 novels this month and 4 graphic novels. And I'm just going to catch you up with the novels that I did finish. This is my final graphic novel, which is an adaptation of Dracula by Nikki Raven. Can you see that? It's gorgeous art. I really like that they went with sort of like the gray pencil with pops of color. I think it really suited sort of, can you even see? The lights are so bright in here, I don't know if you can. But it really suited the story. That being said, they messed with the story, so I'm a bit torn on it. So what they did was had a foreword and explain they wanted to do this new version of Dracula. So basically you have the main highlights of the story, but they completely took out the romance and the history between Mina and Dracula, and that killed it for me. I love Dracula, but that is everything. Mina and Dracula are just everything. So when you take that out, the story fell flat, at least for me. But that aside, the way that they did the highlights of the main points of the book, that was spot on. But 3 stars, because without the romance, it just isn't Dracula for me. I don't know. Just me. Love to hear your thoughts. If you read the book, I'd love to hear what you thought. The other book I had was Writing Young Adult Fiction. I love it when they cover the author name with the sticker, by Juliette Mushins. Okay, here's my thing. This book was more of a how to write a book, how to set up your thoughts for the book, how to get your ideas organized for the book, how to figure out why you like the books that you do like and incorporate that in your own book. I don't need that. I totally know how to do that by now. It had this much about actual young adult writing. So for me, it was a 3-star read because I didn't get what you said I was going to get. But if you are just getting into writing and you just kind of want to break down, fabulous book for you, and I would recommend it for people just starting to write. I had some do not finishes this month also. Tom Sawyer. Here's the thing. I was trying to read Tom Sawyer for my banned book, which went along with the readathon, and I kept thinking, I swear that I tried to read this before and something didn't work out. The minute I picked it up and started reading it, I realized I could not handle the way that he wrote in the stylized speaking manner. I just couldn't do it. It grated my nerves. I didn't get past page 1. So now I gotta find another banned book. The other thing I did not finish, and people are gonna hate me for this, but I just wasn't into it. Raven Boy Cycle, Book 2, The Dream Thief. I was listening to it on audio, and I just could not. I mean, the guy was great with his voices, but it was just dragging on, and I just didn't care. I just couldn't do it. So I want to know if it was just like the first where it's just kind of slow and then it picks up and then it's totally worth finishing and I should give it another try. Was it just sort of a mad book in the series? I would love to know what you think because I know so many people here love that series and this book was just, I couldn't do it. I had to just set it aside. Not sure if I should go back. Love to hear your thoughts on it. So that was it for me in the month of August and with my reading quest. Thanks for joining me. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions below. I will link the first book for the first half of August so you can see everything that I have done. And I will see you next time, guys. Bye.